This holiday season, every time you purchase a 12-ounce SnortBucks coffee, a portion of the proceeds will be given to the Penny Foundation, the world's premier charity dedicated to helping down-on-their-luck content creators pay their daily bills.
I need that money. I really do. I need that money. I need my bills, the electric bill, the internet bill.
So stop by your local SnortBucks today and help send some penny their way.
All right, I don't mean to cut it off that soon. I was hoping to jump in it a little sooner than that, but it is what it is. Good vibes all around. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the newsroom and to the storefront. Oh, man. And welcome back to the DS... Shit, I forgot my own... Did I feel my own intro? I did. I don't want the editor to cut this out. Let me sit here and contemplate this for a second. Fuck it. I need to basically do the whole thing over anyway, or I need to redo it. I should say, or reword it. Anyway, Track the News Network, your unreliable source for DSP news. You already know this. Snort Report, yada yada yada. Sponsored by SnortBucks Coffee Company, as well as our further affiliates. Let's go. Holy shit, that was funny actually. Yeah, it's an editor. Just leave that in. Leave that in. Mistakes show character. Anywho, big ups to everybody. Hopefully you guys are doing well. And since mistakes have already been made, right? You know what I'm saying? We had buggy intro mechanics and shit like that on my part. We might as well go ahead and chalk something else on the list as it pertains to preventing other people from being able to do what they need to do to continue their redemption arc. So apparently, Darkside Phil is blaming detractors, trolls, haters, and critics for preventing him from being able to actually conduct interviews. Hence the reason why you don't see interviews and or collaborations. But then we're also saying that those same people who won't collaborate with him are bitches and pussies because they had a chance to take advantage of him when he was weak. But now that he's strong, now that no one wants to know parts of him anymore. It's really weird. Anyway, don't even worry about that. Because we're going to go ahead and get into our favorite segment where we speak on nonsense and blasphemy as it pertains to DSP and how he perceives the world. Welcome to my TED Talk. So, what are my thoughts on DSP not collaborating and doing interviews? Well, to be honest, excuse me a second. To be honest with you, his collaborations and fucking interviews were trash. They were straight garbage. So nothing was gained, nothing was lost. There were some interesting sound bites and shit like that, but other than that, nothing was gained, nothing was lost. So there's that. As it pertains to his collaborations, they're really with just Kino Casino, and they essentially were just carrying him. That shit must have been mentally, physically, and emotionally exhausting for them. There's no value to any of it. Now, is it true that detractors, trolls, haters, and critics prevented him from, or is preventing him from getting the interviews, the quality of interviews that he wants? Who knows? Who cares? We're going to take the hit for it no matter what. So, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and just you just chalk it to the game. Now, are the people who chose not to do interviews with him bitches and pussies and all that? No, you value your time. Okay, there was a time period where getting DSP into an interview may or may not have been relevant given the situation, given the time period. Okay, there's a time and place for everything. It's not like that no more. DSP has aligned himself with Kina Casino for better or worse, and no one really sees no value in it. More importantly than that, the interviews that he's already had already proves that there's no value in doing that shit. So that's really what it kind of comes down to. There's just no value in it. There's no worth in it. You know what I'm saying? Unless he's going to go up there and speak to a detractor. Unless he's going to let one of us go up there and, you know what I'm saying, cut the bacon up live. You know what I'm saying? Chew the fat, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Spew his fucking gouty toilet juice back at him. Ew. It's kind of... Ew. Who else is even out there to really talk to him? That's really what it comes down to. Moist Critical doesn't have time to do that. He ain't sat there and got himself into a fucking thing a few months ago, and he's still eating shit. Okay, Mutahar is trying to get himself back in position, but he ain't got a bunch of stuff on his ass too, and he needs to fucking get himself realigned before he start talking to anybody about anything. Medicare has so much time left on this planet, and he's prioritizing what's going to be relevant to him, what's entertaining to him, and what's going to take care of Jade. That's the marks of a true man there. Who else is there to speak to you? No one from the FGC. I gave you, well, in one of the previous broadcasts, I gave you a bunch of different examples of people you could talk to from the FGC. You won't do it because none of them want no parts of you. Makes sense. You can't really talk to any of your quote-unquote peers on YouTube or on Twitch because you ain't shitted on all of them at one time or another. And that's really what it kind of comes down to. We're going to get into this. One of the people that allegedly he's had a tremendous amount of respect for years, and he's been trying to court, he's been begging basically, to try to do an interview with for the last 3 or 4 months, and they're saying, yeah, I can't do it. I can't interact with you over some VTuber clip. If I don't have it here, it'll be inserted in post. He's basically like, that's unfair. You can't treat me like that. This, that, and the third, whatever. It didn't mean, I didn't mean what I said. But see, that's the problem. Phil has run around saying a lot of shit, and it piled up on him. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of one of the consequences. It's one of the double-edged swords of opening your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're going to run your mouth about people that you don't know, right? If you don't fuck with someone, you don't fuck with someone. But you don't sit there and just start accusing people of getting opportunities to do certain shit because they slept with people. Or these people aren't real gamers. They're just here for the cash grab and this, that, and the third. Bitch, that's you. That's always been you. So that's what it really comes down to. DSP's mouth has written far more bounce checks than his piggy ass can cash. And he's now suffering the consequences of it. So that whole renaissance, the internet looks at me different, people like me now, take that shit to fucking divorce court. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed, bitch. You're going to sit here and you're going to take everything that this comes with and some. Kino Casino can't help you. Locale Live can't help you. No one can. So either you're going to get money with these people, or you're going to go back to the pig pen, you're going to go back to the snort fort, and let that shit go ahead and fall apart around you while you put out this false image that everything's doing all right, everything's good. I'm not the desperate, pathetic individual I was a couple years ago. A couple of months ago, really. Nothing's changed at all. Just like how people think Review Tech USA changed, or, well, whatever, he couldn't hide, or he couldn't get deplatformed, or whatever. That bitch has been the same bitch that he always been. A lol cow is always going to be a lol cow, no matter what. Nothing changes that. There's no redemption for you people. You guys are barely people. The fuck? You're going to take everything this comes with, and you're going to learn from your mistakes. And that's really what it comes down to. And it's funny how these same assholes want to run around saying that people need to be accountable, this, that, and the third. But when people throw shit up in their face and say, well, what do you have to say about this? Or, where's your apology on this? Or when are you going to take accountability on that? There's a million excuses on why shit can't get done. There's a million excuses on why shit can't get done. I don't know. That's just me. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Let's go ahead and get into the situation. SnortBucks coffee is flowing. You know how that does and whatnot, because we're not alcoholics, so we don't need to be drinking that early in the morning. But I will say it is 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. somewhere. So, there's that. There's that. So let's go ahead and set up the board and whatnot. And let's go ahead and start making moves on these fucking lol cows and shit. Because, it's a thing that needs to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be bringing you, or I'm going to be taking you, I should say.
It's just, again, it's like a child, right? A child trying to take a stab at someone with a silly insult and just falls flat on his face because the child is dumb.
I like that cope laugh that he does after every little thing to make himself seem funny, or like he thinks he's funny. It's kind of like Rich with that fucking soundboard and that applause he likes to do. So fucking pathetic. I mean, you could just be a man and just accept the fact that you're not funny and you're not entertaining, but it is what it is. Or you could just try harder to make better points and try to be insightful if you have anything to be insightful about. But, you know, semantics. I'm asking too much of a lol cow. They can only do so much for themselves. What can they really do for anybody else? Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with one of our favorites and one of the greats, Raw Phil, a.k.a. Dark Dave Mears. And we're here to go over essentially the nonsense that went on November 4th's podcast, or Bottom Bitch podcast, or the Daily Therapy Session, on why he can't do collaborations and interviews with people, to be honest with you. And truth be told, I don't know if the Wings and or Boogie interviews are ever going to happen. If he don't come on lolcow, I would think no, to be honest with you. You have to give a little to get a little, if that makes sense. And that's something that a lolcow does not know anything about, to be honest. So I can understand why that may not happen. But stranger things have happened, and only time will tell. Anywho, let's go ahead and listen to this idiot go ahead and give us his daily spiel on why the world is against him and it's everybody else's fault but his own, and yada, yada, yada. And we'll see if we can make anything out of this that's worth a damn. If not, it's just another pawn on the fucking board that will be used as a pawn should be used, and then discarded if needed for a more valuable piece. It's a brutal way of saying it, but it's the truth. Here we go.
Again, it's like a child, right? A child trying to take a stab at someone with a silly insult and just falls flat on his face because the child is dumb. Pretty much. All right. I received a $5 tip. It's Chonky Cheeks from Kick. Can we get an update on Wings or Boogie appearing on the show? Maybe you can go directly through Keem because I love the guys from Lol Cow Live. I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't worked on interview stuff at all.
Excuse me. Two things. One, we've already had this bitch fest before. I haven't been able to find it yet, but I'm pretty confident it was after the last blow up between him and Boogie, is when he said that he didn't want to do collaborations anymore. He would reach out to dozens and dozens of people nightly, and no one responded back, aka he was begging, and no one would respond back to him. Everybody left him on red. No one would ever try to reach out to him for anything, which makes sense. I can understand Boogie's apprehension of also getting into a Discord conversation with him, or even giving him his Discord like information, because DSP would probably obsessively DM him just like he does on Twitter, which is even more ironic because I just thought about this. Watch me work. I'm saying watch me work. Let me cook. It's funny how DSP said, hey, Craig, I sent you this email, yada, yada, yada. Why didn't you respond back to me? But your correspondence with him initially started on Twitter. So if you couldn't get a hold of him by email, why didn't you reach out to him on Twitter? On top of the fact that if you didn't feel comfortable sending the information to him by email, why didn't you just DM the information on Twitter? In DMs. I don't know why I just started recently thinking about that, but I've been recently thinking about that. On top of that, some of these interviews that DSP ain't done, we may go over some of them. I'm starting to feel I'm feeling cute and fucking cuddly and shit and whatnot. I'm feeling comfortable, if you will. I'm just kidding. Don't ever be comfortable, because if it means you're comfortable, you're not hungry. I may go over some of DSP's interviews. Actually, not even that I may. I'm pretty sure I will. It's just a matter of when they get out. But we're gonna go over some of those. I haven't decided if I'm gonna do them in order yet. From DSP from Keemstar's bootlicking all the way to what's his name? Telemeo, or if I'm going to jump in between. I mean, there's only, what, 5 of them? Not even that many, actually. Hold on a second. There was Keem, Craig, Ptolemaeo, June. Yeah, there's only 4. Well, I guess I don't have an excuse not to do them either. Son of a bitch, only did 4 of them, to be honest. I'm thinking that, I know he wants to do one with a low-tier god. He wants to do one badly, but low-tier god won't give him the time of day. That makes sense. We'll probably go over that, too, because that back and forth was kind of funny. even though I've gone through most of it on stream. Anyway, it's a project that's coming up. I'm not gonna get too ahead of myself. I'm gonna do everything day by day. Either which way, we're gonna probably go over some of that shit. But yeah, if you couldn't get a hold of Craig by email, why didn't you just hit him up on Twitter? But yet again, actually, if you had Craig's Discord, why didn't you just DM the shit on Discord to him? Or why didn't you reach out to him on Discord and be like, hey man, I just want to make sure you're available because I'm about to shoot you this email. Why didn't you do that? So anyway, that's me thinking way too far ahead of the average pig. But it does make you wonder. Same thing with here. He's so obsessive and needy and shit. I can understand why some of these people would be kind of not scared off, but would be not even gun shy. I could just see why they'd want to avoid him. And then coming off of the Stuttering Craig interview, fucking A, who wants to jump into that rat trap? You know what I mean? Like, he completely and utterly showed his ass in that shit. Everything that he tried to disprove and all that nonsense was actually reaffirmed during the Craig interview. On top of the monkey that's still on his back, which is still the Side Scroller podcast. So, I mean, to be honest with you, there's no reason to get back in there. You can see why Ptolemaio was fucking hesitant to get up there. And then when he did get up there, he's like, why the fuck am I here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the real reason why I'm here, fucking Phil? You know what I'm saying? It makes a whole lot of sense. You got somebody who's completely and utterly cut off from the fucking world. Despite the fact that he's on the internet, this is how he makes his money. He's completely and utterly cut off from the world. He has nothing to offer. And in truth, he looks at the world that it has nothing to offer him, but yet it should still pay him. It should still compensate him for just being around, for existing, essentially. How do you navigate the fucking social minefield of sitting down with this ass clown for anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes and trying to pull something out of that shit? Unless you know DSP and you know of his bullshit, there's nothing to say to him. But the thing is he needs people that are ignorant to him or to his shenanigans or whatever. Because then he can manipulate and fucking skew the narrative any way he sees fit. Matter of fact, I need to see if I can get Diggs to clip out the segment when Josh went on to Kino Casino. Just that little hour or so that Josh was on there and some of the back and forth that him and DSP had. That would be a great segment to go over too. Actually, I think Expand Dong has that. Now I think about it. I think SnortBucks might have it too. I'll look around. Well, I'll see what's what before I start asking for anybody to do anything. And we'll see what's what. But that segment, that little back and forth was kind of interesting too. Josh should have known better. Josh, not even he should have known better, he should know better. He's got enough people that are around him that are competent in DSP shit that he should have known better. Going up there acting the way he acted. But that's neither here nor there. I'll save that for another day. Anywho, let's go ahead and continue with this shit before I go ahead and ramble off as I usually do.
Told you, like, I got burnt out on it. Like, I was talking with several different people. All right, I'll give you a cumulative update here.
Wait, so you got burnt out because you kept getting rejected? Yikes, that must hurt. I guess that's what King Cobra felt like, being rejected and going on that 6-year dry spell. I guess that's what it feels like. I don't know. I'm just assuming.
I'll tell you how it ended for me, okay? Here we go. I'll tell you the full story. Maybe I'll even make this a clip for the show, okay?
How are you going to say maybe I'll make this a clip for the show while in the process of making this a clip for the show? Jesus Christ, Phil.
Okay.
And why would you make this a clip for the show? Don't you have editors? Isn't that part of his redemption arc? Is not only does he have better quality equipment and better lighting and all this bullshit, but now he has editors to help him now? Is that not a thing anymore? Whatever. I just thought I'd throw it out there. I'm just trying to get my facts straight.
All right, I'm gonna do a clip because this is the God's honest truth, and a lot of people don't know this, so I just want to make this known. And by the way, don't worry, I'm not gonna blow up anyone's spot or anything here.
Uh-oh, that means someone's gonna get exposed. This might actually be good. And I like the whole thing about this, the God's honest truth. Yes, Phil, you of all people, God-fearing man. Every time you say that, that just makes me that much more confident in what you're getting ready to say. Good job, champ. That's the way to do it. It's the God's honest truth. What did Rich used to do? I swear on my kids. What did fucking what's that other lol cow? Monday Matt. What did Monday Matt used to do? I swear on my daughter. Or I swear he used to swear on his kids too. I don't know. I would think you would, at least DSP, at least when it comes to Rich, you would think you would know better from swearing on your kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Just saying. Because I don't know what grown man or woman who would swear on their kids anyway. To prove a point. Especially on some dumb shit on the internet. I swear on my kids. Oh my Christ. Actually, this is just going ahead and building me up. Maybe we need to go ahead and do some... Maybe we need a couple of videos on Rich. Maybe we need to go ahead and tackle that. I've beaten him up enough on stream, but fucking hey, let's go ahead and get it in video form. Let's go ahead and let's spread the love a little bit. The love. All right, here we go.
All right, I'm gonna do a clip because this is the God's honest truth, and a lot of people don't know this, so I just want to make this known. And by the way, don't worry, I'm not gonna blow up anyone's spot or anything here because some people might be like, "Whoa, he's gonna say something? Oh, I didn't say he could talk about that." Well, don't worry, I'm not gonna drop any names or anything. Okay, so where are we at? We're on 40 minutes in. Okay. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, people have been asking me recently what happened in regards to you doing interviews on the Level 1 podcast, right? And other topics like that. Like, you seem to have gone back to you're doing a lot of gameplay now. You're not necessarily doing some of the content like
You're regressing? Is that what you're trying to say, Phil? You're taking steps back instead of moving forward? Whatever. I just thought I'd put it out there for clarification's sake.
Said you had been interested in doing. I just got asked on stream, what's the status of doing an interview with Wings of Redemption? What's the status of doing an interview with Boogie? We'd like to see those interviews, even if it means going through Keemstar to get them going, right?
So you haven't actually reached out to Keemstar, hence the reason why you can't lock these interviews in. Even though, as far as I remember and whatnot, and not that means much of anything. You had said that, damn, it's starting to get to the point where I might be forced to reach out to Keem in the first place. But why wouldn't you? That's their boss. That's kind of one of the reasons why he can't lock in the Boogie and or Wings of Redemption interview, or at least one of many reasons. One, they have a boss and they have a business. Or they have a business because they own stakes in Lolcow Live. And Keem is their boss, and don't let Wings tell you any different. You know what I'm saying? That fucking slug. So with that being said, anytime Keem needs them to do anything, they need to hop, skip, and jump to it. Well, theoretically, Keem is Wings' co-boss because Kelly really runs Wings' ass, to be honest with you. But whatever, semantics. With that being said, so they have priorities that outweigh you. You're not a priority to anybody, which is one of the reasons why his ass kept getting smacked around when he's running around chasing down these interviews and no one wanted to reach out to him. Or when this idiot came up out his face and said that nonsense to Medicare on Twitter and then had to retract it and take it back and then had to rewrite the message and then had to write a follow-up message saying that his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics were the ones who were making a big deal out of nothing. When in actuality, if you go back and look, most of those names, if you know your lore, you know your lore, actually relate to the Sector, Kino Casino, and some of those guys, some were Sweetie Squad members. Or people who follow the Sweetie Squad. That's really what that was. That's why that shit. That's the reason why that shit caught on fire so goddamn quick. And then maybe PPP and Andy reached out to him through DMs, and they were like, "Yeah, what are you doing, Phil?" And then that's when Phil ended up retracting it. But that was completely and utterly out of desperation. And last time I checked, Medicare don't move for nobody. As truth be told, none of you should. You don't move on other people's time. You should move on your own time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at least on this internet shit, anyway. At least on this internet shit.
Okay, here's the deal. So basically, I put a heck of a lot of work in the months of August and September and the first half of October into trying to schedule and even wrangle people to be interviews for this show. Okay? It's shown that when you get interviewed on this show, there's good viewership, right? Like, we get thousands of viewers for those interviews, and they get good viewership as well on the channel, and a ton of people clip them and talk about them. So it gets you good notoriety.
Wait, what? First off, I don't hear anything about this that's is mutual. I don't hear any type of real mutual benefit. And then you're basically sucking other people's dicks to get on your show. So what are you going to actually bring them when most of them are far bigger and or more successful than you? And the situations may vary. and that may be subject to change at any given time. Look at Rich. So what the fuck are you talking about? There's no benefit for anybody else to go on your show. That's like saying, oh, if Agent Proper, for example, went on to if Phil ever grew some balls, actually was invited on to the daily therapy session for like a bit of a debate or whatever the case may be, or Ann or Piece of Peace or whoever your favorite detractor is. That's not going to boost any of their shit. Like, they're still all relevant. Phil isn't. Phil's the subject matter, not them. It's just whatever bloodletting any of them decide to do respectfully. Other than that, that doesn't actually help them in the greater scheme of things. Let me be very honest with all of you. And for those of you who've been following me a little bit or watching me on stream lately, you already heard me say this. This is a niche-ass fucking thing. This community's a niche thing. The subject matter's a niche thing. None of this shit's ever going to go mainstream. Does that mean bigger streamers and or YouTubers are not aware of who people are in the detractor community, let alone if there is a detractor community and so on and so forth? Sure there are. They know about the Wings community. They know about the Christian community. And shit, Cobra's been getting a lot of fucking notoriety as of late, coming off of the Medicare stream lately, the Halloween one. Big ups to that. So, but still, this is still all niche shit. Unless you're using DSP as a stepping stone, and then whatever platform that you've built off that stepping stone, you decide to branch out to something else, you're still going to always be in this niche shit, period. And that's how other people are really going to perceive it. In a lot of ways, that's how they'll treat you, unless they see something more to you. That's that. So don't be fooled by any of that. Use DSP. If you decide to come in and do detractor content or whatever, do it with the idea that you're looking to build up to something. If you're okay with and content with just doing DSP detractor stuff, cool. If you're only content with doing DSP and other lolcow stuff, cool. If you're trying to build a platform so you can branch off and do something else and kind of show some range and whatever the case may be, don't be discouraged by that. That should be something you should be working towards. With that being said, this idiot right here is not going to bring notoriety to anybody. It's going to be niche shit no matter what. And that's on both sides of the spectrum. Even if Moist Critical or Mutahar were willing to talk to him or speak to him and do an interview or whatever. That doesn't make DSP any less of a lolcow. That just means there's more eyes on him. If truth be told, there'd be far more negative for DSP and probably far more upswing for his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. Now, depending on how they decide to use it to their advantage is up to them. But DSP's still going to get the raw end of that deal. So nothing changes anything. Look at Kino Casino. Kino Casino is only a couple steps away from what the detractor community is. It's all sector drama shit. It is what it is. Now, if you really want to actually build a name for yourself and then build other things on top of that, then you go to the fucking T community. You go to the actual drama community, not the commentator community. You go to the actual drama community and shit, and you talk about that shit. And if you can keep up with it, then by all means, you can. There's a lot of opportunities and advantages there. I mean, don't be wrong. There's a lot of opportunities here as well as in the commentator community. For example, one of the big things that's rolling around now in the commentator community of the many sponsors they have is Meta PCs. But they've been around for a long time. I'm not saying they'll sponsor anybody, but they've been around a long time. And if you put up numbers, excuse me, and if you play games periodically, you can probably secure yourself a deal, especially if you're savvy enough to negotiate something good for yourself. But that's neither here nor there. There's opportunities everywhere. But the point I'm trying to make is you're not going to go mainstream off the tractor shit. You know what I'm saying? Or you're not going to go mainstream off of DSP or Wings or any. That's not a thing. It's really not. Because if it was, then I would assume Freddy Boy and SOK would have done that shit years ago. And they didn't. And they didn't because they couldn't. And Fred knew it. And that's why he was so quick to ignore Medicare when Medicare was like, why are you, like, DSP is always going to be here. Why don't you consider branching out and kind of widening and show range. Widen your horizons a bit. Fred couldn't. And that's why he didn't. Just my 2 cents. Here we go.
Interviewed on this show, there's good viewership, right? Like, we get thousands of viewers for those interviews, and they get good viewership as well on the channel, and a ton of people clip them and talk about them. So it gets you good notoriety. It gets a buzz going in the online community when I have people interviewed on this show. But the thing is, it takes a hell of a lot of work to make it happen, and sadly, because of who I am, people just don't make themselves available as if I were someone else. Allow me to explain.
Why should they? What's the advantage of opening yourself up to Dark Side Phil? Like, you know what I'm saying? You deal with him when you're ready to deal with him. You don't make time for Phil Brunel, DSP, Dark Side Phil. Why would anybody make time for some asshole who masturbated on stream? Why would anybody make fucking time for someone who's been blatantly racist and whatnot on stream and in videos? Why would someone blatantly fucking put their time, make time for somebody who begs for a living? If you can answer any of those things, I'd very much appreciate it.
Right? As you know, for the greater part of a decade, I have had haters, trolls, detractors, whatever you want to call them.
Hold on, let me bring this back a bit. There's something I want to start from that beginning.
People just don't make them.
I'll give you one mechanics. My fault. My fault.
A ton of people clip them and talk about them. So it gets you good notoriety. It gets a buzz going in the online community when I have people interviewed on this show. But the thing is, it takes a hell of a lot of work to make it happen. And sadly, because of who I am, people just don't make themselves available as if I were someone else. Allow me to explain, right? As you know, for the greater part of a decade, I have had haters, trolls, detractors, whatever you want to call them, who harass everyone associated with me on the internet, like completely, right? And so when you are going to appear on this show as...
Wait, first off, I don't know who it was out there who made this idiot think that he's people. He's not people. So no one needs to make time for him like anybody else. Two, you're not relevant. You're infamous. You're not famous. There's no credibility to you. You're a pathological liar. You got a gambling addiction. You got a drinking addiction. You're just have an addiction to being a piece of shit. You're nobody. To be honest, outside, yet again, reinforcing my previous point, outside this niche community and a few others, you ain't shit. You're a nobody. You're a loser. So no one needs to make time for you. Because no one goes out of their way to make time for fucking losers. Unless it's profitable. And even then, you're not even really profitable, to be honest. Not compared to some other locales, to be honest with you. I'm not going to throw out numbers, and I'm not going to say no names. Because that's nobody's business. That wasn't even my business when that shit was brought to me. But I will say that there's real money to be made in detractor content for at least other locales. Like, DSP is a quick way of coming in, building an audience, and building a following, right? If you're talking about making real money, though, on this detractor drama shit or whatever, there's other places to go. You know what I'm saying? This is just a really great... This is a really... The DSP detractor community is a very... well, I wouldn't say very. To some degree, it's a very open place. And to some degree, an even welcoming place for someone to come in and get their start. In some cases. Because I don't speak for everybody. That's for damn sure. But anyway, that doesn't speak for everybody. But it's inviting enough. And I would say there's enough people that are willing to support or be supportive that you can build a name for yourself. But if you're trying to make real bread, you don't do that here, to be honest. Because all you're going to do is actually fall deeper and deeper into the vortex. And then it starts to become one of those questions where, is DSP really a slave to us, or are you a slave to DSP? And that's not, and if it starts to get that deep for you, then you've already fucked up. I'm just putting that out there. If it gets to the point where more and more and more of your time is devoted to dark side Phil and whatnot, and you're getting less and less time out of it for various reasons, then it's time to kind of go back and reassess. And this is coming from someone who's put up, I don't know how many videos I have, 400, 600, whatever. And I've devoted at least thousands of hours to this shit. But DSP don't own me, to be honest. He doesn't really own any of us unless you allow him to. Just food for thought. But no one goes out of their way to make time for fucking Dark Side Phil. That's just not a thing. You don't do that for any locale. They are the entertainment, and then you address the entertainment when you're ready. Like I said, these idiots aren't going nowhere. They can't do anything else. Most of these guys can't even hold down normal jobs anymore. What else are they going to do? If DSP was really having such a success and a renaissance, and even if people weren't willing to show up onto his fucking podcast or to his interviews or to his co-ops or whatever, he would keep on trucking with the quote-unquote positivity that he already has, that he's been waiting on for over a decade. Instead, we're sitting here having bitch fits about a bunch of faceless people online who he feels that are continuing to be a hindrance to him. But that doesn't make any sense, because I thought the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics were all felted at this point. We've all lost the war. right? Isn't that the narrative? We all lost. He won. He's doing great now. I don't know how you can make that statement after 2 months. Most rational people would say that after a year or so. But DSP knows his longevity isn't going to last that long. Similar to the bedroom, he's going to fall. He's going to fall. He's going to stumble. Well, he's going to stumble. He's going to fall. He's going to come up short, like he's done his entire fucking life. What makes us any different? I don't know. Let's continue.
A guest for an interview, you have to understand the amazing amount of harassment you might receive as a result. No exaggeration.
How's it harassment? How's it harassment? Because people want to give people a heads up on who you are, what you've said, and what you've done, so they have an idea of what they're walking into. That sounds like a hookup to me. Because if people didn't care about those people, then no one would say anything. That's just my opinion, and I think. But you know, whatever. It's not like people are like showing up to their streams and view botting them and trying to take their channels and shit down. That hasn't happened. Whatever.
Every single person, the 4 people in a row that I interviewed on this show, all received mass harassment from my detractors. They all were contacted and thrown, oh, you got to talk about this topic. You better fucking talk to Phil about this. You better do this. Why didn't you do this? How dare you do this and this and this and this? It's like, what the fuck? All they want to do is come on the show and talk with me in an interview.
Well, why didn't any of those 4 people come out and actually say that? None of them ever, as far as I remember, none of those 4 people, Craig, excuse me, Craig, Keem, June, or Ptolemaeo, none of them came out and said that they were harassed. So who are you to talk for them? But then again, you lie on everybody, about everybody, to everybody. This is something Tevin just said recently.
See here. And then I have
Of course he told the IRS he had no electronic assets.
Just set up with the guys.
That's because he lied to them. Duh.
Right.
DSP lie about everything.
We have time to do whatever you want to do before then.
Because nothing matters. And he lie about stuff that don't matter. And he lie about everything because nothing matters. He lied to his wife. He lied to his parents. He lied about what other people say. He lied about what his viewers say. He put words in everybody's mouth. He has factually lied about what everyone he's ever interacted with has said. At least once. I promise you. Like factually fucking true. Factually based.
Each shot is $100.
He's lied to everybody he interacted with at least once, and he's lied about what everybody he interacted with said at least once. You know what I mean? He's lied about what everybody he ever interacted with has said. I don't know. I can't word it right. I'm fucking stupid. But at least I don't lie about what everybody tell me.
You become a VIP,
and he's begging again.
To show that you are.
He's begging again.
But it's been a true statement for a number of years. So how do you really take this ass clown seriously on anything under those circumstances?
And it could be about any topic. You know, each person was unique. Keemstar, Stuttering Craig, June the King, and then Ptolemaeo. All were 4 completely different people with different topics to discuss, correct? I didn't even know how some of the interviews were going to go when they went down. It could have went different directions, right? But the problem is when you are now going to appear on the show and you know that now this means weeks of systematic harassment. They're going to come to your content and streams. They're going to come to your forums. They're going to come to your Discord. They're going to go to your social media. And these morons, these mouth-drooling idiots are going to come harass the shit out of you.
Do you mean... Well, okay, I'm making a real big assumption here, but that's kind of what I do. Do you mean harassment as them throwing them money? Is that what you're saying? Are we still crying and complaining about how the detractor dollar is no longer in circulation in your community, as far as we know, and other people are benefiting it, like side scrollers did, like Lolcow Live for at least a little bit anyway. Maybe Ptolemaeo did. Not sure about June. I'm not sure if he has like I don't think he streams, so I don't know if he has like super thanks available, or if he has like a Patreon or anything. I don't know, so I can't speak to that. But is this really about your detractors, trolls, haters, and critics giving people money? Enticing them or giving them some type of incentive to listen to them? Is that what this is really about? Because isn't that what you were really bitching and complaining to Craig about as it pertains to day 2 or the day after the side scroll interview? You were really butthurt that detractors, trolls, haters, and critics were throwing money at them and they were accepting that money and laughing at the different memes and everything that were coming about it? I don't know. I smell pig shit, but I'm also just smelling a jealousy about money. Which is funny because DSP says he doesn't accept troll donations. And he says that he doesn't need it because he has real supporters. even though those real supporters number less than 8, or let's say 8 to 10. Let's be generous. Is this really all about jealousy and money at this point? Because you had a chance to capitalize off troll dollars back in like 2017 and 2018, and you were a bitch about it. And then people finally woke up and stopped doing it, because don't waste your money on Darkseid. I feel like that. He has enough dents that will do the work for you, to be honest. I don't know. Let's continue.
That scares a lot of people. All right. At first, I had a few people who were very interested to do an interview, and then they basically saw how the other interviews went down and the level of harassment that some of these people went through and said, I don't want to deal with that.
That's not true. Or that's not completely true. At least let's go ahead and dip back into our bag for a minute. Right around the time that Side Scrollers was being announced, DSP had 2 other people who wanted to do an interview / documentary with him in some way, shape, or form. They were smaller YouTubers, or they were smaller content creators, or whatever the case may be. And DSP was talking to them off and on for months, trying to work something out. And really what it was is DSP was keeping them on the back burner, waiting for Mutahar, waiting for Moist Critical at that time. Waiting for Moist Critical, or then, eventually Side Scrollers came into the picture, and then he threw those 2 people off to the back burner and said, oh, well, we can do it later, or we'll do it at a time that's better for me. I need to really go on Side Scrollers. So, first off, not everybody was knocking on his door. There was only like 3 people, really. It was the 3 M's. It was Mutahar, it was Medicare, and it was Moist Critical. That was pretty much it. And then everybody else was kind of just like, hey, like, I'm sure there was a few other people, but DSP wasn't really entertaining any of that anyway. And then there was the 2 other people, these 2 smaller people, content creators, I should say, with all due respect, who wanted to do something with him, and DSP tossed them off. He threw them to the side for Side Scrollers. So, truth be told, yet again, as usually what happens, Phil pissed away his own opportunities. That's what happened. And then by the time the Side Scroller shit came out, no one really saw any value in doing anything. You made yourself look like a fucking buffoon up there. Let alone everything you said was lies, and then it was confirmed later on, which gave even more reason not to talk to you, because why would you want to talk to a liar for 60 to 90 minutes? Doesn't make any sense. Ptolemaio knew that. He just didn't come out. He wasn't upfront enough to say it.
I had people lined up for it, and then they backed out. Okay? Now, in the regards of people who are not necessarily involved with internet drama, there's 2 particular people, okay, who I've actually wanted to do like an interview with for many, many years, one of which I really, really respect, okay? Someone who I've known for a long time.
So you don't respect the other guy? I'm just going off of what he said. He said there was 2 people he wanted to interview for years, and one of them he really, really respects. So you do not respect the other one? I mean, if he had said, one of these guys I have a tremendous amount of respect for, and whatever, that would have made sense. I could have let that slide. But, I mean, we're clearly favoring someone else. So was the other guy just chopped liver? Was he just there just to be there? Great way of saying that you're not using people, Phil, while you actively are using people. Smart move.
2 particular people, okay, who I've actually wanted to do like an interview with for many, many years, one of which I really, really respect, okay? Someone who I've known for a long time. Someone who I feel like if we sat down and we had a candid interview about certain topics, it could actually blow up in regards to the internet talking about various things.
Yeah, no. It's either fighting game related. It's more than likely fighting game related, or it's possibly another YouTuber. I'm leaning towards fighting games, to be honest with you. But then there's not too many guys in the FGC, especially old heads, that are going to throw other old heads under the bus. And even still, they would not say that shit. They would not say any of that shit to you. I'm thinking this is fighting game related. I'm pretty confident, actually. But whoever it was, they weren't going to throw other FGC guys on the bus. Here, let me bring this back. And let's hear this. Let me allow you guys to hear this a little further and whatnot. And then let's see if you guys can kind of see my my frame of reference in this.
2 particular people, okay, who I've actually wanted to do like an interview with for many, many years, one of which I really, really respect, okay? Someone who I've known for a long time. Someone who I feel like if we sat down and we had a candid interview about certain topics, it could actually blow up in regards to the internet talking about various things, okay? Because I don't think anyone's ever had these discussions before. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to, again, I don't want to blow up anyone's spot or whatever, okay? So I'm talking with this particular person for months, all right, about this and how it would go down and everything. And basically what keeps happening is this person, again, they don't understand the internet hate against me. They don't understand how the detractors were. They just keep hearing new things, new toxic things about me every week from fucking detractors and shit, right? So one week it's this, oh, Phil did this, and the next week it's Phil did that, and next week it's Phil did this, and next week it's Phil did that. And it's none of it's true. Like, literally, it couldn't be further from the truth. For example, one of the things that scared them off was over a month ago on my React show, DSP versus the Internet, there was a clip. Someone had submitted it, and it was a VTuber, all right? And I guess this VTuber was playing Street Fighter 6, and
it's a fighting game. It's fighting games. I'm almost confident it's fighting games. And for those of you who are not necessarily in the know, there is, as of late, become more and more crossover between VTubers and the FGC. And the person in question that he's speaking of, I think they're a protege, or sorry, they're a protege of like Justin. It might be one of Justin's disciples. So that would have definitely been a no-no. I'm pretty confident this is FGC shit. Because if DSP would be trying to drum up drama as quickly as possible, in the easiest way possible, it would have to be fighting games. But there's nobody I can think of that would be willing to go that far to do so. Like, his best bet would be like someone like Leffen. And even then, even Leffen, as much of a piece of human garbage that he is, even he's not going to talk to Darkside Phil. Even Leffen's smart enough, as hated as Leffen is, he knows not to talk to Darkside Phil. Because if he can't get if DSP can't get LTG to talk to him, there's no way in hell he's going to be able to get someone like Leffen. So no, I'm pretty confident this is fighting game related. And I'm guessing it's probably Arturo, but Arturo's not going to shit on anybody. Not right now. Not after that situation with Dominion and that 3,500, 4,200, whatever it is now, over that custom PC that Arturo was supposed to make. And none of that. None of that. On top of the situation with the tournament scam shit, even though I don't think that's so much of a scam. I don't think he was up and up about the money. I don't think the other company was up and up about the money. So that could go either which way. I need to do a video on that, actually. Because Fnatic basically broke all that shit down. So all I got to do is just go over it. But anyway, I'm thinking it's Arturo. Because Nerd Josh isn't going to do that. Spooky isn't going to do that. DSP needs someone who's jaded. Someone like himself who would be willing to talk. And I'm thinking that's only Arturo. But even then, Arturo's not going to do that. I don't think he's going to do that. Not under those circumstances. That's not the play at all. That's not the play at all. And back to the VTuber shit. You're finding more and more crossover between VTubers and getting into this FGC shit. And so for the FGC, it kind of, there's further incentive to be inclusive to all people moving forward. They already have furries in there. They already have some of these other things in there. So VTubers kind of only make sense because it helps the community grow. So, excuse me. Yeah, I'm thinking this is FGC related. I'm pretty confident it's FGC related, to be honest with you. I'll do some digging on my own part, but I'm pretty confident this is FGC related.
Another VTuber matched up with them and they're playing them and they're freaking out. Now, I don't even understand the context of the clip, and my chat's trying to explain to me. I guess both of these VTubers had been in like a tournament or something. And so for them to play and match up randomly was incredibly rare luck that this ever would happen. So that's why the VTuber's freaking out. I said, all right, this is kind of interesting. I'll watch. I'll see if they're any good. I'll commentate. And I'm watching it, and I watch a couple minutes of the clip. But this VTuber just keeps screaming at the top of their lungs. And it's grating. Imagine if the whole podcast was this. And I didn't have a voice limiter on. Imagine if it was just screaming, screeching. Okay? So after watching this for like 2 minutes, I was like, guys, I'm sorry. I literally can't keep watching this clip. It's actually giving me a headache. Like, it's bothering me. I'm not.
So are you so retarded that, good screenshot, by the way. So are you so retarded that you couldn't just lower the volume of the actual video? You couldn't just do that?
Episode 84. We are now heading into the second half of the show, which is the submissions clips, people who are submissions to your members of the channel. and we put the clips into a randomized playlist, which now we hit shuffle and we see what YouTube shows us. All right, so here we go. Let's see what the first video will be.
Yogi! Wait! I get it!
Ah, my head. Why are you screaming? I'm a VTuber and I scream. Why are you screaming? It's too, the mic is blowing out, right? Like the screaming is so loud, the mic is actually blowing out. It's giving me a headache. Oh.
How the fuck? I can't pay attention now.
Why?
Oh,
What's wrong? What's going on here?
Like, fuck, I can't even focus.
Why? What's going on? I don't get it. I'm lost.
Sorry. This is actually fucking hilarious. How, like, what are the odds that we can win to each other? Yeah! Guys, I think she actually knows how to play this game. Guys, I think she, like, knows. I told you guys! She knows. They're all grinders.
They're both modern players. What are they? Are they, they're both VTubers and they're playing each other for the first time. They randomly matched up or something. Like, get it, you freak out, but like, why are you screaming? The screaming actually off-puts me. It's too high pitch. It hurts my ears. I can't stand. I'm 42 years old. I can't put up with the screeching. They have a good connection to each other. It's 31 millisecond connection, so they must live near each other. Oh, God. Oh, it's like nails on a chalkboard. It hurts so bad. Why? Why do you scream like that? Oh!
Oh my god. How did she know? Wait, how did I? Oh, never mind. That's how.
No, I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't. It hurts my head. I'm actually gonna get a headache if I keep listening to this. Why would you listen to that? I mean, no, legit. How could you listen to that all day? That is so grating. That's what it sounds like when you step on a dog's tail by accident, right? Like, oh. I gotta move on. I can't even watch anymore. Okay. Yikes. Team is playing your video on Lolcow Live right now. What video? What video? There's 16 years of videos. Oh, you mean the stream right now? Oh, boy.
Are you like that fucking mentally inept that you don't know how to... that you have no control over your situation, your environment, your surroundings? That you couldn't just lower the volume on the clip? What a dent.
Not trying to insult the person, just they talk so high pitched and so loud, constantly screaming, that it's actually hurting my head. And I want to just move on to the next clip, okay? And that was literally it. Like, that was literally 100% it. My detractors took that clip and started spreading it all over the internet saying, DSP hates VTubers. Here's him being totally bigoted and prejudiced against VTubers. And it's not what happened at all. It could have been any clip I was watching and someone was screaming at the top of their lungs and it hurt my ears. I would have said the same thing. It didn't matter that it was a VTuber. It doesn't matter if it's a male or a female or somewhere in between. It doesn't matter what the color or race or creed or whatever. It could have been any single thing. If it's that high-pitched of a sound, it's going to hurt my head, and I don't want to watch the clip. I'm going to move on to the next, and I have the right to do that. It's my react show, right? I don't have to sit.
I mean, how much of a react show is it if you're not actually reacting to anything? And it all has to be comfortable to you, or it has to make sense to you, or it has to be entertaining to you. There's a reason why that clip, that fucking reaction show is failing miserably. And who's the only person supporting them on Patreon as it pertains to the Patreon-only videos? Slayer? If they're even still around? Ugh.
Sit there and torture my fucking self with a clip. If it's so loud, it hurts me. So I'm not kidding you. This person says to me, who I've been trying to get on an interview, for months. So I heard now that you're saying awful things about VTubers, and I don't understand why. You know, I don't know if why would I want to do an interview with you? You're just someone who's trying to cause problems and stuff. I was like, what are you talking about?
It sounds to me like someone who has a pretty good grasp of what your history is like. And I could, if it is Arturo, and I'm not saying that it necessarily is, but it's definitely someone from the FGC. If it is Arturo, I could see Arturo saying that. I could kind of see Arturo saying that, like, yo, man, you're fucking up. And why would I want to align myself with you like that? Like, what sense does that make? Which has probably got that person rethinking why they're even talking to you in the first place, let alone conversating with you about doing an interview. Yeah, this is starting to fit I mean, at least for my own narrative, I should say. This is starting to kind of come together. It's coming together nicely.
Did you even see the clip? Do you even know what happened? This has nothing to do with the person being a VTuber.
Well, what clip? Because you didn't make the clip for your own channel. It's just locked into one of your videos. You don't even have it labeled. So no one would even know that it's a VTuber situation unless you actually watched it. The beginning of one of his those videos. It's like 4 of them. And it's at the beginning of like one of them is where he goes to the VTuber clip. So the only clip that's actually circling around is the one that the detractors made. But he's saying that that clip is tainted because the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics lied about what the context of the video of the clip is. So what clip are you referring them to? If all of it is supposedly misinformation or a lie, make it make sense. Make it make sense.
At all. I would have said that to anyone who was being too loud. Right? So that's the point. Like, trying to arrange these interviews is like so much pulling teeth and bullshit, and it's because of bullshit. It's not because I wouldn't be a good interviewer.
But that's not, you're literally contradicting yourself. The dude said, or whoever, said they didn't want to do the interview with you because of what you did. They didn't say shit about detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. It was what you did. Let me bring this back. Excuse me.
For months. So I heard now.
Hold on. Let me bring it back just a little bit further. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of practice with this.
So I'm not kidding you. This person says to me, who I've been trying to get on an interview for months. So I heard now that you're saying awful things about VTubers, and I don't understand why. You know, I don't know why would I want to do an interview with you? You're just someone who's trying to cause problems and stuff. I was like, what are you talking about? Did you even see the clip? Do you even know what happened? This has nothing to do with the person being a VTuber at all. I would have said that to anyone who was being too loud. Right? So that's the point. Like, trying to arrange these interviews is like so much pulling teeth and bullshit, and it's because of bullshit. It's not because I wouldn't be a good interviewer. It's not because the interview wouldn't be good content. It's because there's 10 years of shit all over the internet about me. So when you try to get someone to interview, like, I don't want to deal with this guy.
Wait, but you're contradicting yourself because the very person you've been talking to for months on end was in some type of correspondence with you. And then something that you did, something that you said, ended up basically soiling the deal. That was your fault. So somehow he's trying to shoehorn this into it being a the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics problem. But then, wait a second, because when you had the interview with Craig, didn't you tell Craig that, after the interview with you guys, I had a whole thing set up. It was supposed to be like an Ask the King or some bullshit that he had planned, and he was going to have 2 guests on. But then after the situation with Side Scrollers, he said he couldn't do it no more because of how bad the interview made him look. And then Craig countered by saying, we didn't fuck you up. You fucked yourself up. You came up there and lied for 5 hours. So however someone interprets that situation, that's on you. It's not on us. So now we jump from it was Craig's fault during the Craig interview to now it was your fault that got this guy, whoever this person was, not wanting to participate. But it can't be your fault for any reason. So now it's because there's 10 years of shit out there on you and these detractors, trolls, haters, and critics that are on your ass. Even though you are admitting that that what was in that clip is what ended up fucking you over with this particular interview. But that's weird because you also said that the clip was out of context. The clip was soiled. So they shouldn't have given it any credence anyway. Am I, like, what the fuck? Like, we're getting into, like, literally gold medal super special Olympic fucking Olympic mental super special Olympic fucking mental gymnastics in this bullshit. This is getting sick. This is getting insanely crazy that you would sit there and think you could pass this off as being legitimate. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, someone bring me my SnortBucks. Oh. God damn, son.
Nah, this guy's terrible. I've heard this and this and this about him and this and that. You guys who are here every day watching my content, you know who I am because you're here every day. You watch it and you support it and you enjoy it. But outsiders don't know that. They tend to believe the things they hear.
What the fuck do you expect? I can't expect someone who clicks on my video for the first time to get my humor, to get my cadence, to get all of the bullshit that comes along with that. That's something that they kind of have to build on. But if you're trying to attract a new audience, well, guess what? You're going to have to present yourself in a way, you're going to have to market yourself in a certain type of way to draw those people in and give them a chance to get to know you. You just expect people to accept you off the rip. That's where your problem comes into play. I don't know why I've even explained this to you. I don't know why I'm helping your dumb ass out. You're never going to learn anyway, so what the fuck? You're too late into the game anyway to try to change. Who gives a shit? Like, nothing's changed, Phil. The island that you put your ass on, or where you were actually abandoned on all those years ago, you never left. It was a fever dream. You know what I'm saying? It was a hallucination. It was a mirage. Nothing actually changed. You're still in the same squalor. You still got the same fucking fat roommate and shit. You still live in the your fucking cat's still declawed and fucking sick all the time. You know what I'm saying? The internet still looks at you the exact same way. Kino Casino didn't change a goddamn thing. They just brought you an influx of money and a couple of new dents, and that was it. Nothing else. Nothing else. It says no one. It says nobody in your own camp is man enough to tell you that. I'll tell you that. That's what happened. That's what the situation is. You believed your own lie, which is kind of funny because that's all you do. So to reiterate, you believed one of your lies too many. Congratulations, you played yourself.
Or they just hear the next bullshit thing over and over and over to the point where, I mean, I get it. Like, imagine every day my detractors make...
If you get it, why are you bitching? If you understand this is what it is and you're not stupid, you understand what's going on, then why are you bitching? Just shut the fuck up and accept it.
something up about me. I ignore it and I'm fine. Like, I'm doing well. Just so everyone knows, I'm doing very, very well.
If you're doing very, very well, then why are we crying about this interview bullshit? You could have just told this person originally, hey man, when it happens, and keep pushing. Instead, you sound like some salty ass bitch. But it gets even worse, so let's continue.
All right, to the point where things are better for me financially. I can now afford things. As you can see, I'm upgrading my equipment. I just got a new washer dryer. I have an electrician who's going to be coming the next couple of weeks to install ceiling fans in my home.
Okay. How's the savings account looking, Phil? How's that retirement fund looking, Phil? Got any IRAs? Any CDs? Any stocks and bonds? We got anything? Anything at all? It's called a nest egg, or these are some of the components that could go into a nest egg. I haven't even listed all of them off, but I'd be wasting my breath on you. So, like, you have anything else to go into this shit? If you die tomorrow, is there going to be anything for Catherine except for the debt that's going to come with that house? Anything at all? No, you just want to live for today, right? Fuck tomorrow. Let future Phil deal with tomorrow's problems. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Ignorance is bliss, right?
I've got other things going on. I'm taking more time off to spend with my family, and this is all great.
What family? I'm just saying, like, you have your morbidly obese wife and you fucking have your disabled cat son. What kind of family is that, Phil? Are you going to spend more time talking to your parents and bitching to them about how the internet derailed what was supposed to be some type of star-studded and illustrious career and shit, and that's the reason why you got to keep begging them for money each and every week? Help me understand what the situation is and where we're going with it. Because he's not telling you anything about his future plans. He's telling you about what's going to be comforting to him in the short term, but not in the long term. Like, for example, if you've made all this money, how about we try to see if we can install an air conditioning unit? No, we're going to do the bare fucking minimum and get fucking ceiling fans. When you could have easily just gone to a hardware store, any type of hardware store or whatever, and actually just gotten a bunch of fans that you could just, that are usually on a long pole or that already sit on the floor, and you could have just done that. You should have theoretically put ceiling fans in years ago. You probably should have asked the previous owners to do that before you even moved in. Yet again, you're not actually fixing the problem. You're just sweeping it off to the side for future Phil to deal with later. You're the one who bitches and complains about how hot it gets in those fucking in those rooms and shit. Dude, a ceiling fan is just going to circulate more and more of that dust and debris around you. It's probably going to make it worse. Having an air conditioning unit might give you guys some real incentive to actually clean your house. You doing a fan is just going to create your own little mini vortex of all that dust and debris. You're only going to probably get more and more sicker as the time goes on, especially around allergy season and so on and so on and so forth. Whatever, semantics. It is what it is.
Stuff thanks to you guys, right? I'm not hurting here because my detractors don't really affect me in that regard at all. However, where that it is hurting me is public image, where trying to cross over and have opportunities, they're not happening.
So then how is it not hurting you financially, idiot, if you can't get further opportunities outside of your bubble that would bring in more money or more idiots to give you more money? What sense does that make? How are you going to sit there and say, I'm not hurting financially, but then saying, oh, well, this is hurting me from an opportunity standpoint. An opportunity to do what? Make more money? So it is hurting you financially, stupid. Because let's go back to our previous point. How's the retirement looking, Phil? What about life insurance and shit, Phil? If you die tomorrow, Phil, is Kat going to be okay? Is Jasper going to be okay? If Kat dies tomorrow, are you going to be okay? Are you going to have enough money to put her ass in the ground? Are you going to have enough money to ship her ass back home? Or we're going to just go ahead and get her ass cremated and put her on the shelf? What are we doing, Phil? Damn, dude. Any dent who is sitting around supporting this dumb shit, you deserve whatever failure comes to you. Okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat this shit. I'm not going to be like some of these other detractors out here that are willing to let you in and all that nonsense. How the fuck are you going to sit there and throw your hard-earned money down behind this idiot who doesn't even have a plan himself? If Phil dies tomorrow, what the fuck are you going to do? Because if he dies tomorrow, if his wife dies tomorrow, if his parents die tomorrow, he don't know what he's going to do. So what the fuck are you going to do? Matter of fact, to talk to whatever dent that's out there, if you lose a family member tomorrow, God forbid, what the fuck are you going to do? What's your plan of action? What safeguards do you have to protect yourself? Are you going to be able to handle any type of debts or whatever case may be that your family might... Hold on a second. Sorry, I was starting to sound like one of those life insurance commercials and shit about, do you have enough security for your family and when unforeseen circumstances come in the way? Like, I was starting to sound like that shit. But truth be told, if this idiot doesn't have a plan, how the fuck am I supposed to believe any of you guys have a plan? Grow up. Do better. Jesus Christ.
Why? Because these idiots say so many toxic things every single week that people who are outside of this bubble of toxic internet drama don't get it and don't want to be associated with it. And I can't blame them. All right? I literally can't. There's people who I've had talked with or association with in the past that no longer want to do that. They don't want a chance that my detractors will latch onto them and cause them problems. And I totally 100% get it. Why wouldn't I? I'm here in the center of it, so I know what it's like. I can just imagine what it would be like if you have your own thing going on, your own life, your own business, your own internet thing, and now all of a sudden my detractors are going to start coming after you. You wouldn't want to do that, right? So, yeah, it's pretty fucked up. You know, I was working my ass off trying to get interviews every night after work. You know, after my wife went to bed, I was there messaging people behind the scenes. Hey,
wait, we're lying here, and we're lying in a really scandalous, stupid sort of way, because people know that what he was doing on some of those late nights was he was sitting over there on Kino Casino sucking Nate dick. So what the fuck are you talking about? And then there was the back and forth with Boogie. Wings already said he'd be willing to do it. Maybe he's trying to shoehorn or cry about all those times he tried to reach out to LTG and LTG ignored him. Like, how does that work? And why are you doing it after the wife goes to sleep? It's not like you guys sleep in the same room or in the same bed anyway. So what's the point? And then that only exposes the fact that you're staying up late, you're drinking, you know what I'm saying? You're doing whatever you can to ignore spending time with her. Because if you had to wait till she had to go to sleep to do all this stuff, were you spending time with her before she went to bed? X to doubt. X to doubt.
Hey, let's do this, let's do that. Here's how we'll make it work. Let's get a schedule going. Let's do that. It was a nightmare. And then, again, the straw that really broke the camel's back was last month with Boogie.
Yeah, see, this is just like what I said. This whole nonsense is just a rehashing of what happened last month. When he said that the reason why I'm not doing interviews is because no one will talk to me. That's essentially why we're not doing interviews at co-ops.
Where I'm working with this guy for weeks and weeks to do this interview, and he's just not working with me. I need him to simply tell me the date and time. I need him to simply tell me his Discord so I can send him an invite.
The dude doesn't use Discord. He should have reached out to him on Twitter, which is what he was asking you to do, because you were already corresponding with him on Twitter. The reason why he couldn't give you a date or a time, because his fucking boss / partner Keem basically dictates what their agenda is and everything else that entails. So he really can't move unless Keem basically gives him the okay to do so. And then whatever he does has to somehow benefit the show, because that's where he makes his money. That's his business. So it's funny how DSP needs everybody to sit there and accommodate him and accommodate his business and his business's needs, but he's not willing to do it for anybody else. And that's because he's so jaded, he's so jealous, he's so envious that everybody else has all this success, that he believes all these people have all this money and they can do whatever they want whenever they feel like. Well, if you're supposedly doing financially better, why the fuck are you begging all these people to fucking do interviews? Send the initial tweet out, send the initial DM out, and wait and see who hits you back. Instead, he's admitting that he was stalking people for months on end to try to get interviews locked in. Is no one hearing what I'm hearing? Because that's what it sounds like to me. And apparently, he came across so pathetic that he had to wait until Catherine went to bed so he could stalk these other people. Out here fiending for fucking other men, but had to wait till his wife goes to sleep. If that don't sound a little sus, I don't know what does.
I simply need him to accept my invite request. And it's like insane amounts of work to get this guy to even fucking respond, right? Now, Wings has outright told me he wants to do the interview, 100%. He wants to do it. But he said that he would, because of everything going on last month with the surgery and everything, that he was going to get back to me on when he's ready. He hasn't yet. So maybe he never will.
What the fuck sense does that make? You said the dude's recovering from surgery. The dude said, hey, I'll get back to you when basically he's in a position to do so. You automatically jump to the conclusion that, oh, well, it's never going to happen. The fuck? What kind of sick little monkey are you? This is exactly why all those people on Twitter got on your fucking ass over that Medicare situation. That's exactly what that was. And don't get me wrong, I don't have no fucking love for Wings, but fucking A. Like, you know what I'm saying? They can barely drag his ass up there for Lol Cow Live. Why the fuck would he go over there with you? Yikes. Great screenshot, by the way. I like his little phantom hooves. You see how, like, they're barely in frame and shit? Like, it's like he's not a real person. Like, he barely exists. That's funny.
My invite request. And it's like insane amounts of work to get this guy to even fucking respond, right? Now, Wings has outright told me he wants to do the interview, 100%. He wants to do it. But he said that he would, because of everything going on last month with the surgery and everything, that he was going to get back to me on when he's ready. He hasn't yet. So maybe he never will. Maybe.
And this is him trying to shame Wings into actually doing it, which DSP does that shit a lot. He does that shit a lot. If he can't get you to move the way he wants you to move, he either tries to, let me think very carefully about how I say this. Not that it really matters, but he either tries to threaten you or shame you into doing it. He tried to do this with John and Howard. Excuse me. He tried to do this with John and Howard back in the day, especially John, which ended up leading to the Thanksgiving podcast that John and Howard did and the blowing his ass out of the water. But there was an Ask the King, because I did a video on this. There was an Ask the King that happened that August. This has been August of 2015? Either 2015 or 2016. Where DSP tried to call John out for not being a man and returning his calls or something along those lines. Like I said, I did a whole video on this shit. And that following thing, the Thanksgiving coming up, they ended up blowing his ass out of the water with their little podcast response thing. So there you go on that. So, and this shit always blows up in his face, or he just gets ignored. And to be honest with you, ignoring Phil hurts him more than him getting blown up, because at least he gets a response out of you. If you don't say anything, it bothers him even more. But it's like that for most people who are just attention whores, to be honest with you.
Maybe I need to go after him, right? But
yeah, actually, let me bring that back. Let me bring that whole Wings segment back, because that's literally what he did to Medicare. When PPP and Andy invited Medicare on to talk to DSP, and Medicare was like, didn't say anything for a bit. Then DSP thought he could move the fucking what's the term I want to use? Fuck it. I'll just use mercury, the thermometer. He thought he could move the mercury, and that shit didn't work, and then he got blown up on fucking Twitter, and then he had to retract a statement. Like a fucking coward.
My invite request. And it's like insane amounts of work to get this guy to even fucking respond, right? Now, Wings has outright told me he wants to do the interview. 100%. He wants to do it. But he said that he would, because of everything going on last month with his surgery and everything, that he was going to get back to me on when he's ready. He hasn't yet. So maybe he never will. Maybe I need to go after him, right? But
so right there, that proves my point about the Medicare thing, but it also proves my previous statement. I was somewhat joking, but I was actually being very serious. Is that he's literally he was stalking people. He was literally stalking people nightly. And now, because he thinks he has a verbal agreement from Wings, now he thinks he has to basically stalk him daily to get his ass into position to do what he wants. That's just going to turn Wings off. Because Wings can barely give a fuck to get up out of bed and do a show that actually benefits him directly. Why the fuck would he do anything to help you? With no payoff. Something to think about.
Be honest, I just haven't worked on it, nor have I really cared. Being completely transparent with all of you, I just don't really care right now. I'd much rather focus on my content. Let's make my content better. Let's find games people want to see, right? And play them. Let's focus on improving the React content.
You mean that dead reaction shit? Let's be honest, the gameplay's already dead. When he can't even hit 1,000 views on shit, that's just dead. The reaction stuff is less than dead. You know what I'm saying? Or beyond dead. So what's the point of that shit? The interviews weren't even that great. You know what I'm saying? What was segmented was probably had more value to it. Like, truth be told, the Bottom Bitch podcast, the daily therapy session, level 1, whatever the fuck, is really the only thing carrying the day at this point.
Instead of it being a weekly clip show, let's really work on making a long-form show work.
Why? You barely react to the shit on the weekly clip show, so what the fuck are you going to do over the span of a month? You're going to take a month worth of requests and try to go through all of them. So you're literally going to only watch 10 to 15 seconds of everything and then skip, then skip, then skip, then skip. What's the point of doing any of that? That's the reason why the reaction show's trash in the first place. Because it's not only the fact that he doesn't understand humor. He needs a logical explanation for everything. Why is this popular? Why does this have so many views? How is it that this person was able to make so much money off of it? Why is this shit even funny? I don't get this. It's not funny to me, so how could it be funny to anybody else? All of that shit is fucking just dribble. It's garbage. It's useless. And then on top of that, he's willing to skip everything. I've seen through like Dark Dave Mirrors and Raw Phil, one of the two, maybe both, but I've seen segments where this dude literally went through like 10 fucking different clips. He listened to like 10 or 15 seconds of each one of them and just skipped, and then skipped, and then skipped. And justified it as he did it. So what's the point? Now you want to try to bundle all that shit up in a monthly show? Wow. Wow. Whatever we can to keep those memberships and gifted memberships over there on that channel, I guess. That's pathetic.
Right, so let's brainstorm. Let's work on that. And I have all the stuff. I don't know if we're going to get to it today again. You know, we're going long term here. Every day I say I'm going to get to it, and we're going to talk about it, and we never do, right?
Yeah, like that suggestion box shit. Whatever happened to that?
So we'll see. Let's see what happens. But basically, the way I see it is I think eventually I will get back to interviews when I feel like it. I just don't feel like it right now. I'd much rather focus on my own shit than trying to wrangle people, because that's what it feels like. It feels like I'm in Red Dead Redemption, I got a lasso, and I'm trying to wrangle the wild horse and then tame it to get it to come to do a fucking interview, and it shouldn't.
You shouldn't talk about your wife like that. I understand that she didn't want to do any more co-op with you, but you shouldn't speak about Catherine like that. That's not nice. Just because she's long in the face, well, she's really round in the face now. You shouldn't do that. That's not nice. That's not nice at all. I'm not white knighting for her and shit. I'll let Ulf do that, but that's not nice. You shouldn't use your wife in analogies like that. That's not cool.
Be like that. Like, really, it shouldn't be like that at all. It should be, hey, do you want to come on? Yes. Okay, here's the schedule. Here's the slots. You want to?
Why would they work around your schedule? Hey, do you want to come on? Sure. All right, get back to me on what days you'd be free. That's how most people usually do it. Not, oh, here's where I'm free at. Fit yourself somewhere in there. You already fucked up doing it that way.
Come on one of those? Yes, I'd like to come on this one. Okay, send me your Discord. Okay, here it is. All right, we're set. Talk to you next week when we're ready to go. Instead, it's like,
what do you mean next week? What if it's not next month? What if it's 2 months down the line? Last time I checked, Wings he needs to recover for something like 6 to 8 weeks. It could be even as many as 12, depending on if he has complications. But you want it done next week. Why are you so desperate to burn through the content? Why can't you let anything breathe? That's the reason why those first 4 didn't do really that well. Or at least the Keem one did. Everything else was just, well, the Craig one did too, I suppose. But that was because of what happened in it. If he had given that shit space, if he had given that shit time to breathe, it would have probably worked out. Probably not. They probably would have died out either which way. Whatever.
message, wait 3 days for a response. Then they respond and they're confused. You got to clear up their confusion. Then you got to talk about it. Why is it 3 weeks before I even start talking about getting them on the show? Like, forget it. Fuck it. Really, it drives me fucking, like, absolutely insane. And just for the record.
So we're butthurt because we couldn't get people to do what we wanted, when we wanted, how we wanted. That's literally all this shit is about. I made mistakes that caused people to walk away from me. I gave up on the project altogether because I couldn't get the few other people who were still maybe willing to come on to do what I wanted when I needed them, when I wanted them to do it. Yeah, you're perfect for society, Phil. Yeah, you're gonna drum in a lot of collaborations with that. Yeah, buddy. This right here is gonna get clipped and sent around, and yeah, people are gonna want to deal with Phil Paul Brunel, that's for sure.
Right? And again, this is not particularly aimed at any person. All right? There have been multiple ideas regarding me interacting with other people, all right, on the internet. People who sometimes have had history with me.
Stop. This shit wasn't, first off, he had already called out Boogie. So let's not act like that wasn't a thing. LTG is somewhere in this bitch. And if he can try to get Mutahar and fucking not Medicare, well, maybe Medicare too. But if he can try to fit Mutahar, the 3 M's, if he can fit Medicare, Mutahar, and Moist Critical into that shit without directly naming those 3 directly, he's going to if he hasn't already done it.
People who you think you would love to see this happen, DSPX whoever, right? And these ideas have been worked on and proposed, and every fucking person has backed out. Every single person has backed out.
How'd they back out if they didn't accept? Make that make sense. And that whole DSPX that's LTG. That's definitely LTG. So how did they back out if they didn't accept? How's that make sense? That's literally, think about that for a minute. How can you back out of an arrangement if you didn't actually accept it? Womp womp.
Me interacting with other people, all right, on the internet. People who sometimes have had history with me. People who you think you would love to see this happen. DSPX whoever, right? And these ideas have been worked on and proposed.
Wait, so yeah, you actually just reinforced my point. These ideas have been proposed. Well, first off, it's an idea. And then you had to propose the idea. And they were shot down. So how did someone back out of something, right? That was really just an idea. It was just being theorized. And it was offered to them and they said, well, yeah, I'm not interested. How'd they back out of something that they'd never agreed to?
All right. And again, this is not particularly aimed at any person. All right. There have been multiple ideas regarding me interacting with other people. All right. On the internet. People who sometimes have had history with me. People who you think you would love to see this happen. DSPX whoever, right? And these ideas have been worked on and proposed, and every fucking person has backed out. Every single person has backed out. And it's been a bunch. It's not one or two, it's a bunch. So people are happy to talk about DSP whenever it means that they can punch me. Okay? If it's, oh, I could just make fun of Phil today and make money. So here it goes, right? You know, think of review.
Rich is in, yeah, I was gonna say Rich is in this too, but wait a second. Even before that, do any of you remember, and you might not, I don't blame you if you didn't, because I've been rambling for a minute now, but do you remember a little bit earlier on in this when he said, hey, people have been wanting to back, choose to back out, or people don't want to, talk to me or interact with me, and I understand, I get it, man, I get it. You remember that? So how did we go from, I can understand because supposedly I have all these detractors, trolls, haters, and critics stalking everybody, and that right there is a deterrent, a reason why no one wants to interact with me, to now saying you guys are basically, you guys are the problem. You guys want to hit me while I'm down, right? You guys are okay with interacting with me then, but now that I want to actually talk to y'all, now it's a problem. So how did we go from, we supposedly had all this understanding, to now we're starting to get resentful. Now we're starting to get pissed off because we can't get people to do what we want when we want them to do it. Two-faced, Jesus Christ. Two-faced fucking pathetic, disgusting, ruthless Vato. Dog.
Tech, right? I mean, he's definitely one of them, but
I thought we weren't going to name no names and we weren't going to call nobody out. Oh well, that's we're at Boogie, we're at Boogie, we're at Wings, and we're at now Review Tech, which it doesn't matter. They're all cows. They're not people, so who cares?
Basically, if it means that I can take a cheap jab and I could beat up Phil today, and
hey, actually, now that I think about it, does Review Tech USA actually play Street Fighter? Because if he does, I know he plays Call of Duty. He's probably not good at it, but I'm not good at it either, so it is what it is. So it's kind of a fair fight if you think about it. But does he play fighting games? Because if he does, right, then anybody, not just myself, but anybody has a reason now to play Guile. Because then when you beat his ass, you can literally tell his ass to go home and be a family man. Because it's one of the few things that he's not.
if blood is squirting out of him and I make money, that's great. But now Phil is willing to do actual crossover events, conversations, to actually have a chance to like respond, to defend myself or go back at them. No.
Wait, I thought we were supposed to have conversations with people and actually try to like, you know what I'm saying? Like try to build bridges and all this bullshit. Now we've gotten resentful. Now we've gotten pissed off. The mask hasn't fallen because it was never on in the first place. Now we're talking about getting people on interviews so we can clap back at them. So now we can go ahead and try to defend ourselves. So there was no real camaraderie ever. It was yet again another way of him trying to have an apology tour where he could try to get apologies out of people. He never wanted to have real conversations. He wants to clap back at people. That's what he said. Hold on a second. What the? God damn it. See, you give DSP enough rope, it'll hang himself. And he never disappoints on that.
That's great. But now Phil is willing to do actual crossover events, conversations, to actually have a chance to like respond, to defend myself or go back at them. No one's interested. Oh, so you only want to address Darkside Phil when it means you get the free punch and the free jab. The moment that I have the ability to clap back, you're a pussy. Yeah, and it's not one or two. It's been a bunch of people.
Dude, I literally thought, excuse me, we said earlier on that he could understand why people didn't want to associate with him because of the negativity that's been on him for a decade and for the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. Now it's turned into, you guys don't want to interact with me because now I feel like let me reword that. Let's remix that. Now I have confidence and I feel like I have a couple of people that will actually have my back. So you guys are cowards and bitches because you guys won't give me the opportunity. Now that could be directed to a few people. That could definitely go towards Low Tier God. Review Tech USA is probably in there. There's probably a few people that he's going after on that now. So why the fuck would anybody want to interact with you at this point? Think about that. Man, see, and that's a lolcow. They can't think in the long term. Holy shit.
Who the idea has been presented. Hey, Phil's willing to do crossovers now. Phil's willing to do events now. Phil wants to have a conversation. Puss the fuck out.
How do they puss out of something that they never agreed to? Who gives a fuck that you presented an idea? When people initially came to you about interviews and crossovers, you said no, you weren't interested. Did you puss out? No. You basically said you weren't You weren't interested. You backed out. But then again, can I really say that you backed out because you weren't never in it in the first place? It was an idea. It was an offer. If you don't want it, then push that shit back across the table. But none of those people called you a pussy because you didn't do it. They said, oh, Phil's not really, doesn't care. It is what it is. Why? Like, oh my God. There's a reason why he's never going to have a redemption arc. For any of you out there, and I think there's probably very few of you, who really think that there's redemption for this piece of shit, there is no redemption. There is no second chance. There is no second coming. Well, there might be a second coming. Look at what happened to Rich. But there is no chance to fix shit and make shit right for Phil Burnell. It doesn't exist. As long as Phil Paul Burnell can't get past Darkside Phil, and as long as Darkside Phil can't get past DSP, it's just a vicious circle. One will always cannibalize the other. And that's just the way it's going to be. And that's all in his own head. Why do you think he can't interact with anybody outside of it? Something to think about.
So, again, these people who are on the internet, who for years have been bullies, you have to question, why are they internet bullies? Because it's easy. Because when it's just you talking and there's no response, guess what? It's this echo chamber.
That's literally projection. I need to bring that shit back. Oh, baby. That's literally projection. That's literally projection.
Now, Phil wants to have a conversation. Push the fuck out. So, again, these people who are on the internet, who for years have been bullies, you have to question, why are they internet bullies? Because it's easy. Because when it's just you talking and there's no response, guess what? It's this echo chamber. And you get all these people who like that idea of bullying the person or whatever, right? There's no opportunity to clap back or respond. But now, oh, the tables have turned. Hey, let's do this for real now.
This idiot is literally admitting to trying to get people into interviews so he can bait and switch on them. That's I'm not even sure if people have actually caught that yet. But that's the crazy part of this whole shit. He's literally admitting that I'm trying to get certain people into interviews so I can purposely get the bait and switch on them for stuff that they've done to me in the past. That's literally what he's talking about. That's fucking crazy. Oh, and it's so poorly thought out too. And now he's so butthurt because he thinks it's never going to happen that he's just going to lay the whole plan out. So who's going to definitely want to interview with you now? And then he could turn around and try to justify it in his dent sort of way of, well, it wasn't going to happen anyway, so who gives a shit? You should give a shit. You're the one that's supposedly trying to fix your internet fucking presence and how the internet perceives you. Dummy. You're the one that should care. You're the one that should give a shit. Amazing. Just amazing.
Let's have a real back and forth. Let's have a real opportunity for a discourse or a discussion. Oh, no. Oh, can't do that. Oh, okay. Great. So anyway.
And why are you sipping flavored seltzer water like it's coffee? Why are you even drinking seltzer water out of a fucking cup? Just drink it out of the bottle like you always have. Whatever. I know it's supposed to be some lame ass attempt to promote his fucking merch and shit. Which most of those designs are stolen anyway, so who gives a fuck? But all right, whatever. This is his way of advertising, besides his begging, of course.
That's why. If you're wondering. And by the way, no, again, I just want to make this clear. It's not directed at any one particular person or whatever, because you know people will make shit up.
I don't need to make shit up. You literally name drop people. The only person that you haven't name dropped was Medicare, Mudahar, Moist Critical, LTG, but Rich got it, Boogie got it, Rich got it, Boogie got it, Wings got it, and then you didn't say anything about the other people because I guess you think you could salvage that, but you really can't because you had already called other people pussy. And even if you weren't directing it to them individually, as a whole, you said all the people that you presented this opportunity to, who either ignored you or disregarded you, you said that they were pussies because they backed out of the offer. I mean, at the end of the day, you fucked yourself all the way around. Anybody who comes up there to interview him next, who's not a detractor, troll, hater, or critic, you're a goddamn fool. You're a goddamn fool.
Not said a single word. I've not blown up anyone's spot. I have not done that. But I know people are...
Now we're trying to do damage control. What happened to all that tough talk a few minutes ago? Nah, bitch. Keep that energy when you were calling everybody pussy. Now you want to run around and say, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't necessarily mean it that way. I'm not directing it towards everybody. Nah, don't do that. Don't be a coward. If you're going to keep that energy up, keep it up for everybody. Keep it up for everybody.
That's why. If you're wondering. And by the way, no, again, I just want to make this clear. It's not directed at any one particular person or whatever, because you know people will make shit up. I have not said a single word. I have not blown up anyone's spot. I have not done that. But I know people are questioning me now. Phil, it's almost mid-November. You're not doing interviews. You're not doing crossover events like you said you would. I don't understand what's going on.
What happened was the idiot overpromised and underdelivered, as he's always done. You don't believe me? Ask Leanna. Ask Leanna on how he came through on shit. That's what happened. His dumbass overpromised and underdelivered. Not even underdelivered, he just didn't deliver. He never could.
It's not me. It's literally not me. It's like the internet has become a bunch of fucking pussies. Really?
I thought the internet loved you, though. I thought the internet was giving you a second chance. Now they're all bitches and pussies? All right, then. The fuck you know about pussy anyway, Phil? When's the last time you saw a piece of pussy? Let me know. Let me know.
They just don't nothing to do with DSP, because you know what it is. They know now that I have a voice and I have points. You know, I have a...
You have a voice now and you have points? Bring that shit back. What points do you have? What points do you have?
Really not me. It's like the internet has become a bunch of fucking pussies. Really? They just don't nothing to do with DSP, because you know what it is. They know now that I have a voice and I have points. You know, I have a podcast where I'm making good, valid points about shit that people are agreeing with. Fuck, I don't want to deal with that guy. I wanted to deal with the guy who everyone thought was a buffoon.
You are a buffoon, though. And actually, you undercut it yourself, because you're saying that you have a voice, you have points, and you have a podcast where you can talk about all that shit. So leading up to, just before Kino Casino decided to throw charity at you, were you just the buffoon that was out there rambling and mumbling about a bunch of dumb shit that didn't mean anything? Now that I think about it, let me dip into my fucking lore bag for a minute. Does that mean that what Blip TV said to you initially was true?
You do make some videos within the constraints of the show format, but many of them are just meandering and random. You do make some videos within the constraints of the show format, but many of them are just meandering and random.
That you really didn't provide any entertainment at all, and it was just, you were just a pig squealing for the sake of squealing? It makes you think. It makes me wonder. I gotta tell you, I'm interested now. Now my interest is peaked a bit.
Who no one would listen to, because then it would be easy pickings for me. Oh shit, it's not easy pickings anymore? Oh, fuck.
Oh no, you're even easier to pick now as far as I'm concerned. It's only trust me, the work has only become easier at this point, at least for me anyway.
Fuck that, I want nothing to do with them, right? Well, fuck off then, I guess. I don't know what else to say, right?
And now you want to tell them to fuck off. So instead of opening you already told them to fuck off the moment you called them bitches and pussy. But now, just fuck off. Now I don't want to bother with anything. What's the point? And then we all know this is bullshit, because you're like those cowards on Twitter who do all that squawking and then they jump into people's DMs and trying to smooth shit out saying, well, I didn't actually mean it. You're like those type of bitches. I've seen a lot of them. So you must be like that. That's unfortunate. I mean, not to say that I'm surprised by that, but that's unfortunate.
But I guess that's life.
It is a common trait, though, amongst people who take themselves too seriously. I will say that. It's an interesting trait.
What can I say, right? Anyway, so there you go. That's what's going on. If you were wondering, you know, will I ever get back to interviews? Will I get back to special crossovers? Perhaps. Okay, but no, exactly right. Maxwell says it's because your reputation changed. They all wanted to talk to you before your comeback started, and they were all begging to get you in an interview. Numerous examples. Now they suddenly don't want it. Yeah. I mean, Rich is definitely the biggest case of that. Review Tech, where for years, all he wants to do is interview me. Then I say, hey.
I thought we weren't going to name drop anybody. I thought we weren't going to name drop anybody. Now, all of a sudden, Rich is down and out. Rich is down bad and shit. So now we can go ahead and start getting our shots in. You're literally doing the Rich. Not that I give a fuck about Rich, because trust me, I got shells waiting for Rich. Holy shit, I got a whole bunch of shit coming down range for Rich. But you're literally doing to Rich what you're accusing people of doing to you. What the fuck? God damn, the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy.
Don't want it. Yeah. I mean, Rich is definitely the biggest case of that. Review Tech, where for years, all he wants to do is interview me. Then I say, hey, this is it. Come on my show. And he's the ultimate pussy and won't do it. But then he continues to do the one-sided narrative shit on his streams, but he won't have the conversation with me. If you won't come on my show and interview me, or I interview you, or we go back and forth, then you have no right to then do what you're doing on your content, on your streams. You don't. You just don't have the right.
How's that? How do you figure? You have the right to do whatever you want on your stream. You ain't talked a bunch of shit about a bunch of different people and whatnot at any given time. So why can't they say whatever they want to say on their streams? Who the fuck are you to dictate what someone else does on their own streams or in their own environment? Especially all the pig squealing you've done over the years. Well, get the fuck out of here.
You know? Sorry, you forfeit the right to validly criticize someone when you run from them like a fucking coward.
Oh. Well, well, let's bring that back. I'm sorry. Let's bring that back. I'm sorry. I'm somewhat intrigued by the energy that was displayed there. Let's hear that again.
And you have no right to then do what you're doing on your content, on your streams. You don't. You just don't have the right. You know? Sorry, you forfeit the right to validly criticize someone when you run from them like a fucking coward.
Oh. You don't say.
All right. So that's all I have to say about that. So real quick, guys, what I want to do is talk about the schedule for the week because it's really weird.
Woo, shit. Okay. Okay, nothing's going to come out of that. But that's a nice little clip I think I can use in the future, though. Yeah. That might be a nice little one, something to remember. That might be a nice little thing to remember you by, Phil. I'll tell you that. That might be... It's nothing right now, ladies and gentlemen, but like any coffee bean, right, that's been harvested, you don't really know what you're going to do with it until you actually do it. Give it time. Give me time. Well, you guys have already given me a lot of time. That's why I got to put all this work in the first place. But give it time. Give it time. I feel that there are potential opportunities with that little segment there. Yummy.
Because now I don't even know what we're going to be doing, honestly. Like, I really don't. I don't know what we're going to be doing because I don't know what games we're playing. I really don't know what's happening at this point. Things are definitely changing.
So this Mongoloid, right, was saying that he has all these opportunities. We need to focus on this. We need to try to make this better. We need to do this, that, and the third. While bitching about a bunch of interviews we couldn't get that we don't care about, by the way. It doesn't bother us because we're financially in a great spot. Even though... since we can't actually get more opportunities because of all the shit that's happening to us, that's actually hurting us. But which means it would theoretically be hurting the finances too. Whatever, semantics. Don't think about that. That's forbidden knowledge type shit. Don't worry about that. But then this idiot doesn't even know what he's gonna do when it comes to day-to-day content. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
Okay, so.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh. Oh, baby. That's something. That Jesus Christ, that is something. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Closing thoughts, and then I'll let you guys go. Oh, baby. All right, first off, I stand by. Ooh, I stand by that initial frustration for that guy he was trying to court for the last 4 months. It's someone in the FGC. It's definitely somebody in the FGC. I'm thinking Arturo, but it could be a few people. But I'm thinking Arturo. But Arturo's not going to move the way DSP is not going to move. The way DSP would want him to move, because DSP said that he was spending months on end trying to tell him, hey, this is what I'm thinking about, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to try. That guy's not, that Arturo's not going to go for that. I don't care how mad or jaded Arturo is right now with the FGC, he's not going to move like that. He's not going to move like that because there's still people out there in the FGC that's fighting for him. So that's just not the play. That's not the play. I don't understand how we go from, I understand people walking away from me, people don't want to do this opportunity, to now calling them bitches and pussies. I don't get that. That don't make a whole lot of sense. Why would anybody be motivated or enticed to do anything with you later on down the line? Make that make sense. Basically, the truth of the matter was, the reason why he can't secure interviews and collabs outside Kino Casino, and that's drying up fast, is because of himself. He did it to himself. It's all on his own. He hurt himself. Literally. He literally kneecapped himself. Fantastic. Fantastic. Anyway, you guys can let me know what you guys think and whatnot. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys for the next video / broadcast, whenever that may be, hopefully sooner than later. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snort Report. This is DSP News, always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh, yes! A GTG Network and Productions. For Tim Snortons, for Hard Snorts Gin and Tonic, for SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company, and for myself, GTG. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys when I see you. Later, people. Minor delay. Don't think about that. Don't look at me.
水力マックス。無理して一緒に来なくていいんだぞ。ブルーソックスファンはお祭り好きでね。
行くぞ。